Hey, Sunshine Dude Buckaroos. How the heck are you? You know who I am. We don't care. Tom. Anyways, I digress. Uh, so I have the new riff, Kentucky Straight Malted Rye. I've had this for a little bit, but I figured I'm getting near the end of the bottle, so I probably better finish it up. It's 100 proof sour mash, but it's a 6-year-old 100% malted rye bottled in bond. Bottled bond is typically four. They have to be a minimum of four, but this one is at six, uh, which means it must be 100 proof. But I love this 100% malted rye. So this is basically the rye equivalent of a single malt whiskey, right? So what I made here was a cocktail I like to call an almost. It's almost. We're close, but we're not quite there. An almost perfect Manhattan. Hang on, I got to get up for just a second and grab something. I'll be right back. We got to grab this one to make sure that's set up right over here. An almost perfect Manhattan. So a Manhattan is typically, it could be traditionally rye, but it can be bourbon. In my opinion, if you're using a bourbon for a Manhattan, it must be a traditional bourbon that uses rye as a secondary. And if you're doing it right, you're using a high rye bourbon. But never there we go. We're okay. So nevertheless, what I got here is 2 ounces of that whiskey, and I've got a half ounce of my Antica sweet vermouth. So a perfect Manhattan uses equal parts of sweet and dry vermouth. The reason I call this one an almost perfect is I use a half ounce of the sweet vermouth and a half ounce of blanc vermouth. And I really like this. I'm kind of surprised that others haven't tried to do this before now because this is just a brilliant cocktail. Because that Blanc does add, well, there is a little bit of sweetness to a Blanc, but it also adds some herbal notes that a dry vermouth does not. So it takes that cocktail in a completely different direction, which I really like about it. I'm going to try to make it a thing. The almost perfect, the almost perfect. It's close. It's not quite perfect, but it's almost. Because the reason I wanted to come up with this cocktail is because nothing is perfect. The perfect Manhattan. The name of that cocktail always bothered me because nothing is ever perfect. So I wanted to strive to come up with the almost perfect Manhattan. And I tried varying degrees of dry and sweet. I said, no, we need to take out that dry altogether, but there has to be a balance. That's why I decided to go with the Blanc. It's almost perfect. We're close to perfect, but we ain't quite there because nothing, no matter how good it is ever perfect. There's no such thing as a perfect anything. Some days, I really like it though. I gotta tell you, this is really tasty. The almost perfect Manhattan. I really like it, man. Anyway, but anyways, I digress. The almost, it's close to perfect, but it ain't quite there. which is how everything should be, right? We're almost there. I feel like I'm just a degree off here and there because nothing is ever perfect, man. No matter what anybody wants to tell you, nothing is ever going to be perfect. And it's the imperfections that make it perfect. You see that dichotomy I just drew? Anyways, it's not being perfect that makes something perfect because nothing is ever perfect. Oh, mercy, mercy. Anyway, anyways, I digress. I want to get one last one in. I was fooling around with the AI earlier as if they were giving me different ideas for different things. They were going to midnight sessions, this, that. Oh, last call. I got it. Last call. Last call with the Whiskey Whispers. This is the last call tonight. We're shutting her down. Not for good, but just for tonight. I may get shut down for good at some points, the way things are going. I figure ICE can knock at my door at any moment. But nevertheless, we become this right is wrong and wrong is right society at this point in time. Where I remember as a kid, we were preaching inclusion, and now it's about exclusion, right? So, no, you don't want those people in your group. Now it's all about exclusion. Used to be about inclusion, but no. Growing up in Southern California, where I did, I mean, the schools were already diverse, right? I mean, we never really paid attention. I mean, I'm sure there was discrimination. I didn't feel it because, I mean, in fact, our classroom was a lot of different folks. I never knew a difference until I left there and came out to this neck of the woods. My first thoughts were, damn, I've never been anywhere so fucking white, man. And they were proud of it too. That was the most bizarre thing as a young person, young and cocky in my early 20s when I first got out here, was bizarre to me how proud of being predominantly white they were, which was really bizarre to me. But it seems to be that's the society we've now become, is that they want to be predominantly white, and it still doesn't make any sense to me because that's not how I grew up. And I still haven't found a valid reason for why anybody thinks predominantly white is better, and I've never had anybody give me a good answer for that. Because it's been my experience that white people are the worst, man. We're horrible people by percentage. I mean, we discriminate more than anybody else. It just doesn't make any sense. We somehow think we're better because we treat everybody worse. There is no logic to it at all, man. And as an old white guy, I mean, I got nothing, man. I'll take the I'll take the heat for us. I like to think I'm better than them, but hell, we've all made mistakes. But at this point, I'm embarrassed to be I'm embarrassed to be an old white guy because we're horrible as a whole, as a group. White people are the worst, man. We think we're better than everybody else with nothing to back that up, with no data at all. Anyways, I digress. But I digress. Let's get back to the whiskey, shall we? New Riff. I do like the New Riff products. This one in particular, though, man, I would love to find this at a cask, but the 100 proof is just insane. This 100% malt whiskey is just crazy good, man. It's really only been the last couple 3 years that I've really found myself indulging in rye. But and as much as I hate to say this or admit it, but I'm really preferring rye to bourbon at this point. If I'm having a bourbon, I really prefer a very high rye bourbon. I'm not a fan of the wheat heads. I got to be honest with you. I mean, I've recently uh, purchased a bottle of Buffalo Trace just to revisit it, and I'm not sure. I can't understand the popularity of it. I'm not saying it's a bad whiskey, but it's there, right? There's nothing remarkable about Buffalo Trace at all. There's nothing remarkable about Eagle Rare. It's like it's benign, right? It's the whiskey. Buffalo Trace and Eagle Rare are the whiskey for folks that are just discovering whiskey. They're great beginner bourbons, right? But there's nothing special or remarkable about them. They're a great place to start, but they're not very nuanced. They're an average whiskey for average palates. And they were a good excuse for secondary market thieves to rip people off. Because folks selling things on the secondary market are nothing but parasites. And I've said that before. This isn't a new stance for me. It's nothing new, man. And I'm one of the few, especially in this neck of the woods, that had the guts to stand up to some folks in this area and call them out on their secondary market. But nevertheless, I mean, that's what I guess that's what folks will tell you. Yeah, that's what the free market is. This is our society. We're here to rip people off, and if folks want to get ripped off, well, that's on them. But it should be up to us to have a conscience not to do people wrong in the first place. And I think that's the part that bothers me the most. You got folks that are knowingly ripping people off. And somehow justifying it. If you're knowingly ripping somebody off, if you're knowingly charging more for a product than it's worth, then you're a crook. You're a parasite. There is nothing good about you. I just hope those folks that have case upon case of Buffalo Trace in their basement are losing their ass right now. They got hundreds, that's maybe thousands of dollars of inventory that they're stuck with. They're looking for somebody else to rip off. Maybe they're sending it across country to folks. Who knows? Because stupid people are everywhere. But man, if you're buying something for more than it's worth, no, man. There's too many great products out there for you to spend more than an average product is worth. All in the name of capital. All in the name of capitalism, man. And no, it's not. We're not ripping them off, Tom. That's how capitalism works. Well, man, I think you've just figured out the flaw in the system. Anyways, I digress. I think you just figured out the flaw in the system, man. That's the fly in the ointment, the monkey in the wrench, the pain in the ass. Anyways, I digress. So never intentionally do somebody wrong, and I think that's my whole issue with the whole thing. You're intentionally ripping somebody off. You bought product at a low price, hoping to sell it for more than you know that product is worth, and you're justifying it. Yeah, that's just wrong, and you're an asshole. Hey, clutch. I don't buy products on the secondary market. I don't sell products on the secondary market. I don't collect anything. Probably never going to have a bottle collection more than 20 because I drink everything I buy. I buy as much as I can when I have the ability to, and then I drink it all till it's gone. Then I start all over. I don't understand that collector mentality. I don't get it. It doesn't make sense to me. Why keep buying stuff that you have no intention to drink? It just doesn't make sense to me. But when you have a society like ours that preys on people not knowing any better, you're always going to have folks that will intentionally rip people off. And that's just fucking sad, man. Use the last, I had the very last, I've had this bottle for a little bit, but I used the very last of my Antica sweet vermouth today. But I got some other vermouth out there. I'm not going to tell you what it is at this moment in time, but those of you that watch my videos know what it is. But as much as people think that Antica formula is the best, I have one in my fridge right now that I won't say better, but I will say I personally prefer. I like the balance of it better. I like the way it works with most of the whiskeys that I have. Maybe that's it. Maybe I'm trying to find the right way to say that. It's not necessarily better. It's not worse, but I personally prefer to the Antica formula. Anyways, anyways, we're gonna wrap this baby up. Shut her down, Tom. It's after midnight. Who else you want to piss off tonight? I didn't get into politics. I just talked about you know secondary market parasites, but they know they already know. They already know the answers. Anyways, I am Tom the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purist man.